In this video, I'm going to show you how to bulk up as a skinny guy. Now, I know this can be a big struggle for some people, so I'm going to take you through the exact systems that I use with my clients to help them do this. This is the exact same method that I've used with my client Jack to help him gain 7 kilograms over a 9-month period and put on a whole load of muscle. So with that being said, let's jump straight into the video. So this is going to be your no bullshit guide of how to bulk up for skinny guys, okay? So first things first is why, and why do skinny guys struggle to gain weight as such in the first place? And there is one main reason for this, and that is it's got a lot to do with genetics, okay? So usually skinny guys will always struggle to eat enough food to gain weight. So they're genetically predisposed to stay at a lower body weight, to stay skinnier if you must, a low body fat percentage and a low muscle mass as well. The genetics just prefer them to have this, just prefer them to be this way. So it's not a case of like they're just skinny because they're not doing certain things. It's like an element, and a big element of this is that their genetics are just allowing them to be that way. Just like some people genetically be bigger and more muscular and have higher body fat percentages, some people will have low body fat percentages, low muscle, and be referred to as skinny a lot, okay? But this isn't impossible to fix, right? Just because your body's genetics prefers you to be leaner, it doesn't mean that you still can't gain weight. It doesn't mean that you still can't build muscle as well. Now, it might be harder for you, yes, but all you need is the right strategy in place, and that is exactly what I'm going to go through with you right now. So the first thing we want to do is we need to work out your calories, okay? So when we want to bulk up, we need to gain weight. And to gain weight, we need to be in a calorie surplus. We need to be consuming more calories than we are burning over time on a day-to-day basis, week-to-week basis, month-to-month basis, okay? Now, the problem with a lot of skinny people is they struggle to eat enough. So they're not eating in a way that is going to promote weight gain in a way. They're not consuming enough calories for their maintenance levels, and they're burning more calories or burning the same amount of calories as they're consuming on a day-to-day basis, okay? So the first thing we need to do is, we need to figure out your calories so you're in a calorie surplus. Now, the best and most easiest way for me to explain this and do this is not necessarily to run you through a calculation, but is to use a calorie calculator online, okay? So there's loads of them online. If you type in online calorie calculator, you put in your height, your weight, your age, your activity levels, and what your goals are. And this will spit out a rough number for you that is going to allow you then to give you a calorie target to follow that should be a rough estimate of how you can gain weight, okay? Now, we'll also need to log our body weight. And this is going to be another important metric here. And you'll find through this video that the data is going to be very important to track along the way. So we need to know that if the food that you're eating is putting you in a calorie surplus, but one of the main things is logging your body weight. Okay. If we know it's working, we know we're kind of bulking up slowly over time, we want to be seeing the scales gradually come up over time so that we're gaining weight. But again, we won't know this unless we are weighing every day. So we have to track the data, we have to get on them scales first thing in the morning, before eating and drinking, and after using the bathroom. That's what's going to be the most consistent way to weigh in. But weighing in is going to be super, super important because you won't know whether you're in a calorie surplus. You won't know if you're gaining weight or not by not doing this. The next thing, like I mentioned, is tracking and logging your food, okay? So to know exactly the amount of food that you're eating, you need to start logging and tracking the food that you eat, okay? Now, you can do this through apps, okay? So there's MyFitnessPal and NutriTrack. I'm sure you've heard of them all before, but in order to know the amount of food that we're eating, we need to log our calories and track the food we eat. A lot of people underestimate this. They think they're eating a lot of food when in reality, then they're really not, and it's very inconsistent on a day-to-day basis. So by logging your food, tracking your food, and staying accountable to that is going to ensure you know exactly how much food you're eating day to day. And by following your calorie target that we mentioned earlier, that is going to help put you in a position where you can consistently be in a calorie surplus so that you are going to be gaining weight over time there too. The knowledge is power, and you'll learn so much about the foods that you're consuming when you are tracking the calories that you eat. So I highly recommend this for anybody, okay? The data is king. The next thing are the types of foods to eat. So since a lot of skinny guys are trying to bulk up, and they probably don't have a huge appetite, to be honest with you. And this is one of the reasons why they struggle to get food in. The genetics doesn't allow them to have the biggest of appetites. They struggle to get food in, they end up eating not enough food really to gain weight. So because of this, we want to be able to utilize high calorie dense foods. Now, what are these? And they are basically the foods that have higher calorie count for a small volume of food, okay? So when we're kind of dieting, we want the opposite. We want lots of volume for little calories. Here's the opposite, because we want to try and get more calories in that we might normally struggle to get in. We want to utilize high calorie dense foods, so it's easier to get a lot of calories in without feeling as full all the time, okay? So an example or a few examples of high calorie dense foods would be things like nuts, super high calorie, peanut butter, fatty cuts of meat, like, a ribeye steak or a chicken thigh over a breast, salmon, fatty fish, again, lots of calories. Cooking oils and butter, using butter with your food. So when you cook, if you're cooking your chicken in a pan or something like that, adding some oil into the pan is going to help bump them calories up a little bit more. And the same with kind of adding a little bit of butter in there too. That can definitely help. And anything like liquid calories, the mass gaining shakes that you can have, making smoothies, shakes, stuff that's very high calorie, but it's liquid. So it's easy to kind of get down and get them calories in without feeling as full, okay? So we want to be utilizing more of these foods into your diet. It's going to make it a lot easier to get more calories in day to day without you feeling stuffed all the time and feeling like you can't consume any more food, okay? So the next thing, and this is another important thing, is training in the gym. Okay, so we've been through the nutritional side of things. That we need a calorie surplus, we need to be eating more high calorie dense foods, we need to be logging and tracking our food, tracking our body weight too. But if we want to actually bulk up and look good and gain weight and look good as a skinny guy, then the training in the gym is going to be essential, okay? Because when we bulk up, we actually want to build some muscle so we can fill out a t-shirt, so we can look good, we can feel more confident, okay? We don't just want to gain weight for gaining weight's sake. We will have a purpose to this, and the purpose is to build muscle and look a lot bigger and better. So now that we've been eating in a way and we've figured out how we should be eating in a way to kind of cause muscle growth, we need to start training in a way too that's going to enable us to stimulate muscle growth, if that makes sense. So and here's how we can do this. So the first thing is we want to train to get strong, okay? And what I mean by this is that training to get strong is going to help you stimulate more muscle growth, okay? When we're in the gym, your main focus should be trying to get strong as possible. This is the simplest way to put it. Now, to go into the science, to touch on the science a little bit, muscle is built through something called mechanical tension. And this mechanical tension is stimulated during the last 5 to 8 reps of a set to failure, okay? So if you did a bench press and you did 10 reps, and after your 10th rep, that was your all-out maximum, you could not get another rep if you tried, then this is what is called a set to failure, okay? You could not get another rep after it. Now, the last 5 to 8 reps of this set are the ones that are going to be very highly effective, or very highly stimulating for muscle growth. So we want to be pushing into these ranges every single time we step into the gym. And the best way to do this is by looking to get stronger and stronger and stronger, pushing your weights up in the gym consistently and taking your last sets of an exercise close to failure. And that's what's going to help you grow in the gym. So training to get strong should always, always, always be the focus, right? Now, the next thing is logging your weights too. And just like we track our food, we track our body weight, we want to log the weights we lift in the gym too. This is obviously going to be very important because we can previously see what weights you've lifted before in your previous sessions, and then we can look to improve on and beat this by either lifting more weight or increasing the weight or increasing the amount of reps you do with that weight over time. Again, these things that are going to stimulate muscle growth over time in the gym. And a good way that you can use this is with my clients, we have an app that all does it for them, but we can use an app. There's an app called Strong on the App Store. You can log and record your workouts on there and track the weights that you lift over time, okay? Now, the next thing is what training split that you should be using. Now, to be honest with you, any training split can work. But the main thing we want to do is ensure that we're hitting each body part twice a week at least, right? And you can do this in a couple of different ways. So there's like a 3-day training split, which is upper body, lower body, and full body. 4-day training split, 4 days a week, which is upper, lower. And also a 5-day training split, which you could do a push, pull, lower, upper, lower. So you're hitting legs twice a week, and then you're training your upper body twice or 3 times a week in there as well. Okay. Now, whichever one you should pick really depends on your lifestyle, how busy you are through the week, how many gym experience, how many times you realistically think you can get to the gym consistently. If you're a really busy guy, then training 6 or 5 times a week probably isn't going to be doable for you, is it? Unless you really love it in there and love training. So you need to kind of pick program what is going to suit you best, but the main thing is look to pick a plan that's going to be consistent for you. Okay, you can find program templates online to help you with this. Again, the main thing we're looking for is a training split we can rinse, repeat, and look to get stronger on and progress with over time. The nuances and the exercises in there don't matter too much as long as we're hitting each body part twice a week and we can rinse and repeat this program. That is what we're looking for, okay? The next thing and the last thing is going to be the consistency and your adaptation to the program over time. Now, it's going to take time to build muscle. It's going to take time to bulk up and gain weight, and we want to do this in a slow way. So the main thing is we want to be consistent with this. Okay, we want to be super, super consistent. At least give it 9 months of pure consistency over time to really kind of have a go at things. Just like my client Jack did, that was over a 9-month period that he gained them 7 kilograms. The results did not come straight away, and often with muscle growth and bulking up, it's delayed gratification. It's a long journey because building muscle is hard and building muscle is slow. It takes time, okay? And same with gaining weight. If we gain weight too quickly, we're going to get fat, okay? So we don't want this. We want to take our time with it, be nice and slow because that's what's going to happen, and we want to be super consistent with it too. Now, there are going to be times when you need to change and adapt the plan a little bit over time, and these times are going to be when your body weight stops moving up. So you'll get to a point where when you're on the calories, your weight's slowly creeping up over time, that your weight kind of stagnates and stays the same for a little bit. Now, if this is happening for at least 2 weeks or longer, then this is when we want to make a change, okay? And basically what happens is your maintenance level of calories goes up after you start gaining a little bit more weight because you are a bigger human now. You are burning more calories on a day-to-day basis. So the current calories that you're consuming are going to be matched by the amount of calories that you are burning. And in this case, this is when you're at your maintenance and your weight kind of stops creeping up. So what we want to do here and in these times is this is when we want to bump our calories up by 200 to 300 calories to get us back into a surplus and keep that weight coming up over time too. This is another reason why the data is so important to track. And when we have the data in front of us, we can base our decisions off the data and rather than our feelings and how we feel about things in the moment. So tracking that data is always going to be key. And that is it, guys. That is your no bullshit, no nonsense formula that is going to enable you to build muscle and bulk up as a skinny guy. If you like this video, subscribe to the channel and I'll leave some more content up at the top, but I'll catch you in the next one.